Classic Resto's Trucks Edition Series 2, proudly brought to you by Gleeman Truck Parts, Premier One Products, and Shannon's Insurance, where you can become a member of the Shannon's Club.
G'day and welcome to another interesting episode of Classic Resto's Trucks Edition. And of course, Series 2 of Classic Resto's Trucks Edition is not possible without the continued support of my major sponsors. When it comes time for insurance covering your classic truck, you just have to have the very best, along with an opportunity to sign up to become a member of the Shannon's Club. Parts for your classic truck, cleaning products for your classic truck, and breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it's time to crack the good egg. Go to classicrestos.com.au. These major sponsors' logos are there on the homepage, and if you click on those, you'll be directed to their websites for more information as to how they can help you. And on today's show, I've travelled west of Sydney to this bloke's place here, Bernie Lewis. How are you, Bernie?
Very well indeed, Fletch.
That's why, mate, had to get you back in Series 2.
yeah, it was a long time coming, but we got the job done.
Well, mate, you had so much fun in Series 1, didn't you?
We did. We had a ball, and it was one of those things that you get pretty passionate about, like we said in Series 1. He says, but, you know, things change. Like we started with the truck a bit, and it was important to... Well, when you rang me, I said, yeah, we've made a few changes, and that's where we're up to.
Bernie, obviously the owner of Premier One Products, which of course major sponsor of this Trucks Edition for Series 2. Find out more information via classicrestos.com.au. Well, Bernie, you're good enough to have me here at your house. Before we start talking about the truck, you've got a nice place here, mate.
Well, it's just...
Comes from working very hard, right?
We put some hours in, yeah, and it didn't come without its dramas, but it's something that we've always wanted, and lo and behold, once we finally got it, the kids moved out and they weren't here to enjoy it, but other than that, it's our little piece of paradise, you know.
Back when you were a kid, mate, the trucking has been in your blood a long time. Tell us a quick story of when you were real small and when did the trucking bug bite?
Oh, mate, it goes back, well, I can only remember as far back, obviously, when I was, a little fella. And I think I was about 3 or 4. I remember sitting in my grandfather's truck. And I always said to him, I said, look, we've got to go for a run in one of these one day, you know. And that's when we went to, I think my first truck trip that I remember was going to Brisbane and the Thornycroft. Well, that was express freight, apparently, and I remember it took us 3.5, 4 days to get there and 3.5, 4 days to get back, and that was carting brand spanking new Mini Miners, and that would have been, I think, about 63, I think, somewhere around there. But I remember sitting in the back of the car because there was no sleeper in the Thornycroft, but the silly old bugger left me there. He forgot I was with him. And I remember I sat in this little Mini on the back of this car carrier for, must have been, 9, 10 hours, and then when we turned up in a roadhouse, he goes, where'd you come from? But I remember tooting the horn and all sorts of stuff, so by the time we got to where we're going, I reckon I knew how to drive a Mini.
What sort of trucks have you driven over the years, Bernie?
Oh man, look, there's some that I can't remember even the names of, but the windscreen was that big in it that when you were sitting in the driver's seat, it felt like that everybody was looking straight up your stubbies, which would have impressed quite a few people, I might add. He says, but no, there was Accos and 3070s and the odd DAF or two.
Now, mate, behind us, the big W900. Now, I know this truck means a lot to you. Okay, start off with the year and tell us where this truck began with you, Bernie.
Well, it's a 1985 W900B, which is a Yankee version, and it's very similar to that T900 that we've got here in Australia, but obviously 10 years older. But I think last time we had a yarn regarding this particular old truck, I think it was, we only just got it, and we were going through all the mechanicals, which we've done now, and then we started off with a bit of shiny stuff. But with the shiny stuff, it had to be practical, so that's kind of which way we went with it, you know.
The beauty of this is not only have you, partially restored this truck, but I mean, it's still a working truck. I mean, it's not a show pony sitting here in the yard. I mean, it's out to work, isn't it?
It is, you know. And look, it doesn't work as hard as what it used to. The first year we got the old girl, and what we've had her for 4 years, I think now. The first 2 years we worked the ring out of the old girl, because the truck, I've always stated, it had to fund its own restoration. So I wasn't going to keep digging into my funds. Well, worse could have been Cheryl's funds, you know, and then
if you dug into her funds, as long as she didn't find out.
yeah, but she'd find out, trust me. And so the truck has to earn its own maintenance, or its own repairs and its own restoration and whatnot. And we're pretty much got there now. We just got to make a few changes and then pull it all apart and then finish it off.
Now, Bertie, run us through the bracketry system on a Kenworth mirror. You were telling me earlier before we started filming how many brackets are involved. That's a Bernie special. Matter of fact, I reckon you should have some sort of engraving or a sticker made up that's put a patent on that one.
Yeah, well, I've got an absolute legend of a guy that helps me with all the bracketry and the stainless work and all the fabrication, we should call it, I suppose. And if I give him a direction to go in, he can actually fulfil that, you know. But we were mucking around. Mind you, it started off, we had to put some flashing lights on for a particular job. And I couldn't put the flashing lights anywhere where they looked half reasonable. They was just look add-on-ish. And so we made a few brackets for that, but we ended up throwing them away. But we got sidetracked. So we've got the brackets, but still haven't got the orange flashing lights. Oh. But I think there was 13 or 11, I can't remember exactly. There was a lot of brackets to hold one mirror on a W Kenworth, like a W model Kenworth. And it's probably the same with all the 9Os and all that. And I thought, man, that's so messy. Surely we can clean that up a bit. But it comes with its good points, its bad points. But we got to hide all the wiring, and what you see is...
It'd be funny if Kenworth in the US saw that and thought, hang on a second, why are we building 11 brackets and this bloke's just done one?
Yeah, well, your mirrors always end up distorted and all this sort of crap. There is a bad side to it, I suppose. If I ever take out a mirror, I'm going to take it off my cab.
Up under the hood, Bernie, what's lurking there? Tell us about engine and driveline.
Okay, the driveline really hasn't changed that much, but the gearbox, it's an 18-speed, and the engine's an N14 Plus, or an N14 Select Plus.
Okay, what's the difference between the Select and the Select Plus?
I don't know. I've asked the same question a few times to my mate, and he said the Select Plus goes a lot better than the just normal N14. So I'm going to take his word for it, because the old girl doesn't go too bad, you know. Like yeah, look, it sounds great.
Power-wise, like today, is it still the same as when it would have been new around 85? Does it run a bit better, a few modifications since then?
Yeah, no, when this truck originally came out, it actually had a 15-speed with a 350 Cummins in it. Now we've got the 18-speed and the 525. So it's a very drivable truck. If you punch it into it, it goes through a fair bit of fuel. But if you drive it normally like you're supposed to drive it, yeah, it's very economical.
Well, I hope you're really enjoying this week's episode of Classic Resto's Trucks Edition Series 2 here at Bernie's place. Now, when it comes time for insurance to cover your classic truck, parts for your classic truck, cleaning products for your classic truck, and if you're peckish, time for the good egg, go to classicrestos.com.au for more information. Major sponsors' logos are there on the homepage. Click on those to be directed to their websites for more information. Back with more classic trucks after this. Welcome back. Now, Bernie, cleaning products for your truck. You've got some metal polish here, mate. We're looking to clean metal. What should we look for in our cleaning product?
Well, I was working on the theory, Fletch, that if you're lazy like me, it's got to work, and it's got to work quick, and without too much effort, because that's how we roll, you know. He says, but with the metal polishes, a lot of them are just way too abrasive. And it depends on what rouge, which is the gritty stuff in them. That's what you've got to look for. You've got to look for the right rouge to manufacture, or to get it manufactured for you. And but simply, it's got to be easy to put on, easy to take back off. And obviously, with a bloody good result. Absolutely. You know.
I mean, it's the old story too, I guess. Make sure the surface is clean. I mean, you might think to yourself, oh yeah, as though you don't know that. But it's amazing the amount of times that you might go to clean a surface, and if it isn't too clean, you'll end up with scratches.
Oh yeah, you end up with heaps of them actually. And we've seen guys have told me, he says, oh, look, we just polish over the dirt and everything because, you know, the polish that they're using is very abrasive. Well, that's fine. He says, but when you do get it finally shiny, you can see the scratches. But the trick too is with aluminium, especially aluminium, the smoother the surface, the shinier it'll get.
Yep.
And, if it's like a bull bar, they obviously get pitted, well, not obviously, but they quite often get pitted to the point where you just can't polish them anymore.
Absolutely.
It's just like getting something shot painted. Yeah. And, so a lot of guys that do take the effort to sand them back end up with a brilliant result, But, yeah, there's preparation is one thing, application is another thing.
Major sponsor of Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. They've got stacks of great stuff. For more information, find them through classicrestos.com.au. Thanks, Bernie.
No problem, Fletch, not a problem.
Thanks, Bernie. We're moving on now to Albie. How are you, Albie?
Good, thanks, Fletch. Yourself?
That's good, mate. Good. 1986 Kenworth. Tell us the deal.
ISAR 1986, the last of them. One of the rare ones and one of the best.
Mate, this truck works very hard. Give us a rundown on what this does on a regular basis.
Well, it used to do B-doubles. It has done road trains across the Perth one a week. And now we just retired it and does 5 legs out the Dubbo, running our back trailers out for our road trains every week.
How many Ks a year would it do?
Oh, it used to do about 300. Yeah. But yeah, so we just, it still can do up to 10,000 Ks a week, depends where we use it.
So, mate, what's the logistics in terms of getting yourself a brand new truck or keeping an older one and just throwing engines and boxes at them, keeping the maintenance up?
They don't build them like they used to, Fletch. Yeah. That's as simple as that. They don't build them like they used to. They're all plastic these days.
It goes for so many things, doesn't it? I mean, even in the building trade, building a house today, the quality of the bits and pieces that you can use isn't the same. I don't know where it's all going. It doesn't matter what trade or industry. We just seem to be losing it, don't we?
That's right. It's because they import everything so cheap. That's about it.
So, Albie, with you, has it always been Kenworths?
I'm only the manager. The boss owns them. Yeah. We've got a couple of Macs, but no, other than that, they're all Kenworths.
Yeah. Well, Mac, there's a lot to be said there too.
Well, it's 700 horsepower, so it's pretty good. Gee. Fully automatic.
That's amazing.
State of the art.
Yeah. Albie, with this particular truck here over the years, has much had to be done to it?
No, all we've done is a clutch, one front diff, and it's gone from being a 400 horsepower into a 600 horsepower motor. That's it.
That's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, there's no list as long as your arm of things that have gone wrong.
No, she's still in good condition it was when it came off the production floor.
Still a good truck to drive, Albie?
It is, very good. Yeah, we've got blokes lined up out the gate to drive for it.
Okay, lurking under the hood, tell us the engine there and the drive line.
C15, 550 Cat, 18-speed Road Ranger on 3 7s.
There's no doubt about it, he cuts to the chase. He doesn't waffle on, does he?
No. Build him for speed.
build this bloke for speed. Mate, when we talk classic trucks, obviously, does it go back a long way with you? Were you later in life when you got interested, or was this from a little kid?
My dad drove for 37 years before he retired, and I've been driving for 25. Yeah.
So school holidays, you would have spent that in the cab with your dad?
Yeah, and bag school to go away with him too. Yeah. Used to ring up and tell Mum that I was away in the truck and not at school, so every chance I got.
A truck driver told me years ago, an interstate guy, he said the only true interstate truck driver that seems to hang in there and can withstand the duration of the career is the kid where his dad drove and his father before him, and school holidays, you spent your 2 weeks in the cab with your dad.
It's in your blood for sure. Got to have a good wife behind a good man.
Absolutely. Now, over the years, Albie, I was going to ask you where you've driven to, mate. The question should be, I guess, where you haven't been.
I really haven't been to Darwin in a truck. It's about the only place I haven't been in Australia in a truck. Yeah, been by plane a few times, but never drove there.
Yeah. You'd like to, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice to go up through the gorge and it'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, we're talking a Thursday at time of filming now. So in the next 24, 48 hours, this truck here, where's it going?
It'll go to Dubbo 3 times tonight, Friday night and Sunday night.
Jeez, there's no mucking around, is there?
No, load of trailers out, load of trailers back. And back at the workshop for the day, then they go out again that night.
How are you finding the industry changes over the years?
Oh, it ain't what it used to be, that's for sure. You mean the politics of it now? Everything's politics. You mean the paperwork side of it, and the fines and infringements are just killing us. Yeah. You mean just for no reason.
Yeah. There's always that 1 or 2% that make the good guys look bad too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've got a good bunch of blokes here. You've been with us for a fair while, so it's good.
Yeah. Name of the company you're working for, Albie?
JDH Overnight Trucking.
That's good. Well, mate, look, I appreciate this. This is doing Classic Restos Series 2 Truck Edition. I mean, these guys take time off work to come and be filmed, and these aren't the sort of vehicles that you want sitting around, mate. So, look, I appreciate your time, and thanks so much for having the time out to be on the show.
Thanks very much, Fletch. Appreciate it.
That's all right, mate. It's another classic example of a guy that helps to keep the trucking fraternity going, mate. So, yeah, good on you, buddy.
Thanks very much.
Welcome back. Just down the road from Bernie's place, we've got Rob now from Ray Marshall Transport. How are you, Rob?
Good, Fletch. How are you going?
Good, mate, good. Like to see what's hanging around inside the sheds. Look at this, a 1970 Dodge. What's the story?
Yeah, this Dodge we picked up about 10 years ago at Castlemaine Truck Show. It was a one owner and was in a pretty good condition, but a little bit faded and knocked about. And my father offered to buy it off the old guy that had it, and he wouldn't sell it. Then when he seen the trucks that we owned ourselves, he came up and said, if you can restore the truck as good as your trucks, I'll gladly sell it to you. So it started from there.
What was its history, Rob?
Oh, it just was a farm vehicle around Horsham, around that area there, and they just worked at, like around the farm, doing the general duties of the hay and supplies to the farm. And he'd had it, and he was going to keep it for his grandson. But his grandson at that stage was still only young and didn't know if he was going to grow into liking it. So, that was the story. When he seen our trucks, he said, yeah, could you do up my truck like that? And I'll gladly sell it to you. So.
Mate, one of the most diverse shaped trucks ever built. I mean, shared by International as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think they'd started at about 65 and went to about 72, 73 with the International just to change the front clip.
Yeah. But Rob, not only were they used to take produce to market and around the farm, but I mean, these were interstaters, weren't they?
Yeah, people would have done it hard driving them back then, them day, sleeping across the seat and gear stick in the ribs and whatever. So would have been a trip and a half.
Gear stick in the ribs if you fell out of bed.
Yeah, one way to wake yourself up without an alarm clock.
So, now, Rob, when you first got the truck, no doubt it was in a bad way, hence the challenge to restore it, right?
Yeah, it was just all faded, had a few crook repairs, black chassis and just a faded red cab and bit neglected, but original and good complete truck, you know. So.
Mate, still run the original chassis rails?
Yeah, still original chassis rails. We just stripped it back down to the bare bones and rebushed it and springed it and done it all. And so far, it's just been a work in progress to get it back to here.
Mate, inside the cab looks so good. You're just sourcing the hood lining now?
Yeah, just trying to get the original hood lining. We got the seats and the door trim done as per original, and everything else is done right. And got some new old stock bushes for the steering column gasket and stuff like that. Just trying to make it as original as possible. So I'm trying only to find a hood lining and a floor mat. So.
I tell you what, when it gets down to that, you're nearly there. Under the hood, what's happening there, Rob?
It's a 360 Chrysler V8 petrol. That's the only big drawback with it. It's not a diesel one, but it's...
Might be a drawback when it comes to the sound.
No, the sound will be good, but the fuel bills are a price. But yeah, it's a 360 V8 Chrysler motor, the 5-speed, 2-speed gearbox, and yeah, just leave it original and do it right. But we've done the engine and the gearbox. We've done the whole thing so far, so far so good.
Mate, the colour scheme looks good. I mean, the red against the chrome. I mean, it really does look $1 million, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty traditional, the old style back then. But my father had a Ford 8000 back then in the day of these, and we've copied what his truck was then onto the Dodge, you know. So,
mate, you like your old stuff. I mean, we've got to remember that this is Classic Resto's trucks, not cars. But I just can't help myself. Got the old Fairlane over there. That's come from your father-in-law as well, right? Yeah,
it's got its tail to itself. It was bought original, brand new at the Sydney Easter Show on the Ford stand in 1968. He's had it ever since. Been sort of shedded and put away, and now he's here with bit of health problems and can't finish it and restore it, so it'll be next one done. Yeah. So.
Okay, we're back to the trucks now, otherwise we'll keep on talking about that Fairlane over there. I'm looking at it though, it's absolutely beautiful. You know, what I love about these old trucks, and it's a bit of an artwork now that you see is dying, is the scroll work, the painted scroll work. You know, that was so paramount on trucks of yesteryear, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a thing, a talent you had to have. You couldn't be taught, but I think if you had the talent, you were a lot better off with it. Yeah. And the guy that done this does all our own trucks as well, and he can turn his hand to anything. This bloke, he's really good and talented, whatever, the airbrush and scroll work, the whole bit, you know.
Good, so. About that Fairlane over there, what about that dash pad? You know, it's an original dash pad. You know, you could have told me it was done last week, and I'd believe you, but it is original. Hang on a sec, we're back to the truck again. Now, we talk about from one man's talent to another. The same guy that painted the Dodge truck has painted this 2007 Kenworth, Rob?
Yeah, that's right, 2007, 1904. He's done all the paintwork on all our trucks, but like we were saying about the talent of being the old scroll and the old heritage sort of paintwork, up and to the new style of new age of paintwork, he can do anything, you know. So.
I mean, potentially from one interstate truck back in its day to another. I mean, wow, hasn't it changed? But you know, an interesting thing, the country hasn't got any bigger or smaller. I mean, the vehicles are still doing the same amount of kilometres, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Still doing the same, just a lot, I suppose the speed in delivery has been the thing. and in a lot more style to be able to do it and a lot more ease, really, you know. So
When we talk of style, have a go at the bling of this thing here. I mean, the tanks down each side, what does it hold?
it holds 2,200 litres of fuel, yeah, of diesel. So
How far does 2,200 litres go?
about just over 4,000 kilometres. Because we put the bigger fuel tanks on and spec them up for the bigger range, because when we do the exhibitions and shows, we'd sort of go like North Queensland or Hamilton Island or Alice Springs, and just takes away the looking for fuel or stopping, you know. Carry a bit more fuel on board, it just gets you that bit further to where you need to be.
Geez, Rob, the Kenworth must have good door seals, mate, if you do Hamilton Island.
Oh, yeah. No, they get put on a barge and taken over there, mate. So
Where do you actually go? Is there anywhere, pretty well anywhere?
The exhibitions go, we usually go, and mainly we try to just do the Sydney-Melbourne and Sydney-Brisbane ones, but when the shows go to for a week at Alice Springs or Hamilton Island or Mackay or stuff, we go with them and we just wait for the show to finish and bring the freight back. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Mate, don't want this to sound like a stupid question, but after the Dodge, is there something else on the drawing board? Because I can see 2 other trucks down in the yard there.
Yeah, there's a couple of others here that one day maybe get on the floor to be done, and you know we're looking at trying to find an old F8000 to restore it to the same way as like the Dodge is, because that was the truck that your father originally had.
Yeah.
So whatever comes along, there'll always be a project somewhere.
What year was the 8000s? 70s?
Yeah, late 60s, 70s, 67, 68 up to the 70s.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, and they had little Cummonses in them and stuff like that.
Again, like back in the day, if you could get yourself into a brand new 8000, you were doing well too.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. They were sort of towards the top of the range there, so yeah.
Rob, thank you so much for inviting me to your yard here this afternoon to round off episode 8 of Series 2 of Classic Restos Trucks Edition, mate. I love what you do here. It'll be good to hear that big girl over there running one day.
Yeah, hopefully I'll turn up at a show that you're there, mate, or a run, and we'll talk again or something.
Knowing you guys, it will, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos Trucks Edition as we make our way through Series 2. And today's episode, a big thanks to Bernie Learson, to organising, of course, himself, Albie and Rob. Of course, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD sets of the show, along with other Classic Restos merchandise. You might want to find out some information on travelling a Fletch tour, and of course, how my major sponsors can help you as well. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.